What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Steve Nosentoski here of Mason Brew, bringing you episode 1 of Talkin Transfers for the class of 2021. This is the first time I'm doing this series, episode 1, new series to cover the transfers coming into this upcoming football season for the Michigan Wolverines. History, stats, recruitment. If you've watched Freshman Feature, we'll kind of go through the same deal here for each of the transfers for this upcoming season. So let's dive right into episode 1 here. 6'3" wide receiver transfer from Jackson State, Daylen Baldwin. All right, looking at his history here, he was an unranked cornerback out of Farmington High School first. Then he transferred to Waterford Mott High School here in the state of Michigan. He was class of 2017. He spent 2 years at Morgan State, transferred, which required a 1-year sit-out. Then he played 1 year this spring at Jackson State, where he was first-team All-SWAC and SWAC Newcomer of the Year. So quite a bit of accolades he accumulated over the spring playing for Jackson State under Deion Sanders, head coach of Jackson State there. He comes to Michigan with 2 years of eligibility. Likely it'll be just one because he is a legit NFL prospect, but he does have 2 years of eligibility left in his collegiate career. For his stats here, I was only able to find his high school stats from his senior year and his Jackson State stats for 6 games this spring. For his high school, 20 receptions, 401 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So you can see kind of why he wasn't recruited that highly, because he didn't have a whole lot of production at the wide receiver position out of high school. At Jackson State, 27 receptions for 540 yards and 7 touchdowns. So for 6 games, those are some pretty solid metrics. For his rankings, just looking at his rankings here as a transfer here, the only ones I could really find, he was number 5 wide receiver in the portal according to 24/7, and they gave him an 88 overall ranking as a transfer according to their services there. So for his metrics, he's between 6'2" and 6'4", depending on who you ask, and around 210 pounds. He's probably closer to 6'2" than 6'4", but he's in that range. I couldn't find testing times. Sam Webb talked up a source that he runs upper 4.4s, so like a 4.49, 4.48, somewhere around that range. Again, that's just speculation, so I'm saying that because it's out there. I'm not saying that's true, but I will say the film makes him look like a 4.5, possibly high 4.4s guy, so he does have legit speed, especially considering his size. So going into his scouting here, plenty of speed, as I said. Downfield playmaking ability, something that you'll see in his film quite often. He's a strong receiver who consistently wins over the top on deep routes. Extended route tree, toughness. He brings a lot of experience. Obviously he's bounced around a bit, but he has a lot of experience under his belt. Hardworking player and brings a really good attitude. So a lot of transfers, if they go to a couple different spots, you wonder about their character. Why did they have to go from one school to the next? For him, not a case of any sort of misbehavior, academics, anything like that. He's always been a hardworking player and seemingly a late bloomer. Okay, so that's something he said himself, where it just took a while for him to settle into his physical stature, for him to actually get into the body that he is now and produce at a high level that he is at this point. So those are kind of the reasons he bounced around a little bit, and he checks the boxes of the intangibles of what you want as a player. He's a willing blocker as well, so obviously as a wide receiver, you're going to be called upon to block, and he's a willing blocker. Now, is it at a Big Ten level? Something to find out down the line here. For his recruitment, so he entered the portal at the beginning of June, started going on workouts to various different programs. Ohio State offered in early June, shortly followed there by the Michigan Wolverines. Penn State looking to add an offer as well. He mentioned Josh Gattis as one of the main reasons he committed to the Wolverines. He also mentioned the facilities really standing out, and Michigan won over his mom, who was a big factor in his recruitment as well. So he was actually an Ohio State fan growing up, which is pretty interesting. He mentioned Michigan as the best opportunity to play right away, right? As a transfer, usually that's one of the most important factors of why you go to a school. What does the depth chart look like at that position for me to contribute immediately? At Ohio State, he was getting told that he was going to be around the 4th to 7th option on the depth chart, which makes sense. Ohio State is loaded. He's likely the 2nd to 4th option at Michigan, and he could even be higher than that if he really shows out. So let's move into his film here. So 8:30 p.m. Eastern time tonight, we're going through live film analysis. Let's check that out. But new feature for this series, I'm going to show top 3 plays, okay? And these are 3 plays that show all aspects of his game, ones that I don't necessarily think are the best plays, but showcase his full abilities and a let's dive into it right here. So play 1 against Alabama A&M here, a fade into the end zone, subtle handwork to get distance against the defensive back on this touchdown, body control to adjust to the ball in the air, turn his body towards the sideline, and the hands to catch the ball away from his body, showing those strong hands for the touchdown. Play 2 here, also against Alabama A&M, shows his ability here to make plays after the catch, okay? You would think as a 6'3 guy, maybe he's more of like a Nico Collins, right? More of a possession guy. Secure the catch, can win jump balls, whatever, but not really a yards after the catch guy. He's got the speed and acceleration to really do that, right? So he's a guy who tries to find ways to maximize yardage after the catch, and that's really important. I think that's something that makes him stand out among other wide receivers, especially those in the transfer portal. For play 3 here, Circus catchability is there, okay? This is just one clip of him with a ridiculous one-hand catch that turns into a touchdown, and we still see that speed after the catch, but he has multiple clips of showing off one-handed grabs just like this one. So the dude has that capability, right? This isn't just an anomalous play that I show here. This is something that showed up multiple times. Even in traffic, he's able to do this. So very important and will be fun to watch moving forward. So comment below on which is your favorite clip and come hang out in the live stream tonight to talk about more of them. So finally, for his projection here, he has a very good chance to start right away opposite Ronnie Bell on the outside. So you got Cornelius Johnson, Roman Wilson on the outside as well competing. Baldwin will come in immediately and battle those two for the opposing starting role on the outside. Blocking could be the X factor, right? Is his blocking at a high level? That could make him see the field that much sooner if it is there. The floor is going to be a rotational player for him. I truly think that. I think he's at least going to be the first or second guy off the bench at the lowest. I think he truly has that ability to start. And I think rotational player, he'll still get about the same amount of snaps as a starter, even if he isn't, the first wide receiver off or first wide receiver on the field at the first play. So since Baldwin is a true outside threat, I think it gives flexibility to the roster. You can utilize a Ronnie Bell or Roman Wilson more on the inside since you don't need to depend on them on the outside now that you have Baldwin out there as well to provide some depth to that position. So I like what it does it opens up the Michigan offense a little bit more to suit those players and utilize them in more interesting ways. My best bet, my prediction, I think he's the first guy off the bench. I think it's probably going to be Bell and Johnson to start on the outside. As he gets warmed up, I could totally see Daylen Baldwin warm up and then establish himself either as a starter or truly just splitting snaps with Cornelius Johnson at that other outside spot. So that's all I have. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Again, the live stream tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Come hang out. We'll talk all things Daylen Baldwin. Finally, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. Stay safe out there. As always, go blue.